I had defended Trump against being called a fascist for a while. There was a short time when I agreed with the label back in April, but then I tried not to view him in such extreme ways shortly after. Well, as time goes on and I'm seeing more and more footage of ICE, I'm having a really hard time not calling them fascists and this administration fascist. Obama deported more illegal immigrants than any president in our history. During his administration, approximately 2.5 million people were deported, with a peak of about 410,000 in 2012. He did this without requiring people wearing masks in unmarked vehicles, terrorizing marginalized communities. He did this without targeting people who had been here for 30 years who have been contributing to society. In fact, he made it a policy to never do that. Yet he still deported more people than any president in history. The people who support what the Trump administration has been doing with ICE basically say the same thing over and over again. But they're here illegally! But they're here illegally! They broke the law and came here illegally! As if the people who have been contributing to society are just as bad as the hardened criminals. It reminds me of a story in 2015 at Spring Valley High School in Columbia, South Carolina, where a girl refused to put her phone away in class after a teacher had asked her to put it away several times. And so the teacher had a police officer come into the classroom and manhandle her, as you'll see here.
Hands behind your back. Give me your hands.
That uniformed officer was telling the student she was under arrest for disturbing class. When she refuses to comply, the officer grabs her arm. Her desk flips backwards as the officer struggles to pick her up. He then throws her across the floor. That officer was reassigned to administrative duties while the sheriff's office investigates.
Many people on YouTube at the time defended the police officer's actions, arguing that since she didn't comply, she deserved what she got. I remember someone in particular who went by the YouTube name LiveLife8072, who would continually yell the phrase, "But she didn't comply! She didn't comply! But she didn't comply!" over and over again when anyone would ask him about it, as if repeating that phrase over and over again made the view more valid, and that violence was appropriate. These people who support the cruelty of ICE are really no different. They believe that following authority and hierarchies are of the utmost importance. They seem to believe that breaking any law should result in the most extreme of consequences, except for laws that could affect them. Some of these same people don't think that jaywalking or spitting on the sidewalk should have serious consequences. Many of them think that getting prison time for marijuana use is wrong. But then they also argue that we should change those laws. But with this, they don't argue that the laws should be changed. If it's a law that only affects people that are of demographics they don't belong to, they think it's perfectly fine for there to be extreme consequences for it. In the case of ICE, if it disproportionately affects brown people, which it does, they don't really care. They'll argue that they're here illegally, they broke the law and they're here illegally. And this is because they've bought into the propaganda that blames most of our problems on illegal immigrants and trans people. They try to claim that being here illegally seriously hurts everyone. Their argument is total BS, but they argue it over and over again, as if the only places they get their news from are Fox News, Newsmax, Breitbart, The Daily Wire, and from Trump's own mouth and fingers. Again, Obama was able to deport an incredible amount of people without targeting those who had been here for years who had been contributing to society. ICE under Trump is acting like the Gestapo. They cause fear and terror in entire communities. They come into communities with masks, often in unmarked vehicles. Again, the more footage I see of them, the harder it is for me to claim that it's not a fascist move. And then there's how Trump has even went after people who are naturalized citizens who have criticized the administration too much. You have to wonder whether he'll start targeting regular citizens for the same reasons. I mean, he's disallowed people to even visit this country if they post the J.D. Vance meme. My stance on the administration regarding Antifa was probably a bit misguided. as he probably won't just target Black Bloc Antifa who are acting like terrorists. He'll probably start targeting anyone who gets in the way of ICE in any way. I may feel the way I do about Black Bloc Antifa, that they're trained and organized, but the direction the Trump administration is going will not just stop at them. I'm sorry I was so naive about it. If Trump would soften his stance on illegal immigrants, and was to direct ICE to only go after people who have committed crimes other than just being here illegally, then it would be hard to call him a fascist. But it can be seen by Trump and his cabinet on social media that they continue to just double down on all of it. And so do his diehard supporters. It really seems that cruelty is the point of it all. I fully understand that the word fascist has quite a few negative connotations to it. I understand that right now, a lot of people on the left have been radicalized. We should be careful not to encourage terrorism. But we should also be trying to find reasonable ways of stopping ICE from causing so much terror in so many of our country's communities. Homeland Security's X account is continually calling illegal immigrants criminals and predators, as if the only people they're going after are criminals and predators. It's allowing false narratives to continue. It's allowing people to say, look, they're just going after the criminals and predators, while later on in an argument, they'll still argue that, oh, well, they're here illegally. They're here illegally. Homeland Security is also claiming on X that anyone who is against ICE is a coward. This can't continue without some sort of pushback. Just saying.